Call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Education, District 208. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Nardi, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Turpin?
Here.
Ms. Kaska?
Here.
Ms. Ruska? Ms. Towner? Mr. Van Horst?
Here.
Mr. Welch? Ms. Salis?
Here. As a reminder, Ms. Towner is no longer on the Board of Education. Thank you. So we do have a quorum with 4 members in attendance. Mr. Welch could not attend this evening. Any visitor statements tonight? Please come on up to the microphone. I'm going to read a short statement while you get yourself situated. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages the participation of its citizens in the business of the school district. There are 2 points in the meeting where visitor statements are scheduled. Citizens are welcome to raise questions or make comments at either one. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual and cannot be combined. Please note the Board of Education will not answer questions or engage in dialogue during visitor comments. If a person would like additional time to address the board, such a request should be submitted in writing 48 hours before the meeting to the superintendent. Thank you, and I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, good evening.
Can we hear her on the mic?
Good evening.
I think you're okay.
Is this on?
Yeah.
That's for the TV.
Yeah, you won't hear it in here.
I'll put my hand up when you have about 30 seconds.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Andrea Crawford, and during my junior year at Morton East High School, about 20 years ago, I was sexually groomed by Dallas Till, my student gym teacher and baseball coach. After months of being sexually groomed, including sexually explicit conversations, meeting in private during school, before school, and after and on weekends, he also convinced me to meet him for sexual intercourse. After we drove and met for sexual intercourse, I had the overwhelming internal sense that I was not safe, and therefore I left. I told my parents the details of how Dallas Till was sexually grooming me, and they reported it to the school administration and Principal Manuel Izquierdo. Dallas Till was immediately removed from my class. There was an internal investigation in the school by the administration, including athletic director Richard Fulreedy. After the investigation, my parents and I were told by Principal Manuel Izquierdo that the findings were substantiated and that Dallas Till was fired from coaching and student teaching at Morton. Also that they had notified Elmhurst College of this, and that Dallas Till was barred from completing his degree and would never be able to teach. I am also in no way implying nor saying that you knew what happened, but Superintendent Kevin Skinkis, you were employed at Morton East while Dallas Till sexually groomed me. My yearbook does list you as the Dean of Students at that time. Again, I'm no way implying that you knew. Dr. Skinkis and the board, I implore you to please start an active investigation into Dallas Till.
Take your time.
During his time here at RB, I ask you to please take this seriously and protect your students and the future generations from him. Please do not fail any more children. I'm sorry. Please do not fail any more children, as Morton East failed me and the students after me. If there are more victims, they may not understand what sexual grooming is or that they're even victims. Parents should be made aware of this pattern and be proactive in speaking with their children. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else here this evening for public comment? Seeing none, we're going to move on to discussion information items, including FOIA requests.
FOIA requests. We got 2 FOIA requests from Bob Skolnick. The responses are in the request, or to the request, are included in your board packet.
Any comments or questions on those? Looking to our abbreviated table. Thank you. Update on district goals. I don't think we have an update for this meeting. We wanted this in here as a placeholder. Is that correct?
Correct. That was supposed to be at the COW meetings then, whenever
Yes.
we do reports.
I think it's appropriate to keep it on the agenda
Right.
as an item. Any comments? I'm looking to my left, my right. Additional discussion items? As a reminder, we do have one vacancy on the Board of Education, and the application process for that vacancy is open until this Friday. Moving on to the consent agenda, action items, approval of minutes.
We need a motion.
Mr. Van Horst, can I ask you to read the motion, please?
If I'm on the right one, yes.
It's a very top
Oh, the
item.
very one, first one. The Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, takes the following action on the listed consent agenda items. Approves minutes from the meetings held on September 13th and 27th, 2022, open and closed, and proposed course fees as presented in the October 11th, 2022 board agenda packet.
Can we have a second, please?
Second.
Second for Mr. Durkin, and we do need a roll call.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Ms. Gasko?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska? Mr. Van Horst?
Yes.
And Ms. Salas?
Yes. Old business action items. I don't believe we have any life safety items this evening.
No,
Ms. Kangas?
just one update. The school district did receive their bond rating from Standard & Poor's, and we are a AA+, which is the highest bond rating we can receive to go out for public bonds. The highest bond rating is AAA, but the median income for the districts we serve and the home values are not at the level to where you can get to a AAA. So us having a AA is good news.
Okay, thank you. Curriculum guide, new course proposals.
Kylie Lindquist is here tonight. Kylie?
I was so excited. I was ready to. Hello. I will try to be as quick as possible, Dr. Stinkus. So I am bringing forth 4 new course proposals. The course proposal process starts at the building level with course proposals being brought forth by either teachers or instructional coaches. We vet and vote on those course proposals as a full leadership team that includes our building administration and all 7 of our coaches. And then we bring those courses to the Curriculum Advisory Council, which currently has 1 board member in Mr. Van Horst with Ms. Towner's absence, leaving a vacancy on that committee. And I appreciate, Mr. Van Horst, your feedback and talking through the courses with me. I really appreciate you giving me the time for that. So the 4 courses that I have brought for you are summarized in the packet that I gave Mary Ann to include in board book. I'm not going to go crazy through it and read for you what I'm sure you've already looked at, but I am going to try to answer some questions and give you some high-level summaries. One thing that all of the teachers and instructional coaches who brought these courses forth were trying to be very cognizant of were the new board goals. The first one being the maximization of the curricular day and fostering new opportunities for students, and then the third one focusing on continued efforts in diversity, equity, and inclusion. With those 2 hallmark board goals in mind, these proposals, we believe, speak to careful consideration of both student opportunities and broadening student opportunities, as well as continued efforts in diversity, equity, and inclusion by targeting populations of students who might not be represented in different programming that we have within the school. So the first course is Advanced Studio Music Production. I call this a proposal for a course within a course. This is a course that perhaps will be a designation for a handful of students who have taken studio music production and wish to continue on in that pathway. The way that this proposal was written, there is already some alignment with a proposed curriculum in Music 101 at Triton College. So the intention is for us to put this course up for dual credit so that students who are going to take this course again for that advanced credentialing could have a dual credit opportunity in the fine arts, which is a place that we don't yet have a dual credit opportunity, and that really speaks to something that we're trying to do at the building level by expanding those opportunities for students. I don't see this impacting FTE coming out of the music department because, like I said, I believe this to be kind of a niche market. So I think it's going to be a handful of students within an already running studio music production class. We run several sections of that class a year, and I see students being able to fold into that class already in this particular course. The next course, the second one that I brought to you, is also a fine arts course, and this one is Bulldog Buddy Choir. This is actually a course that was brought to us a few years ago under a different name, and what we thought at the time needed some more details fleshed out and really some conversations between the Fine Arts Department and the Special Education Department to really make sure that this course was well thought out. If you look at the accompanying material, this is modeled after New Trier High School's High Five Choir, which is a partner choir between special education students and general education students. The name for this, in terms of Bulldog Buddy Choir, we have such a strong Best Buddies program here, nationwide recognition, and we're so very proud of that. And we see this as a very similar opportunity. Students partnering together and doing so in an elective course that can offer opportunities for speech pathologists, for OT and PT to access special education students through a mainstreamed curriculum offering, and also give students an opportunity to partner with special education students. Maybe I'm a student who foresees going into special education as a career, or maybe I've really thrived in Best Buddies, and that's really a partnership that I want to keep going because I really appreciate what that does for my life. And we see a lot of special education students accessing our fine arts offerings all the time. We see students in ceramics, we see students in choir right now. But what we're finding out is that the choir offerings that we have, because they are curricular, predominantly performance choirs, sometimes students who can't read music or students who have some difficulty with vocalizing or need a little bit more movement don't necessarily find a niche there, and they're maybe trying to fit kind of a square peg into a round hole. And we think that this curricular choir offering could be an opportunity to bring fine arts to students who maybe didn't think that was possible before, or in a new way. One of the things that we talk about always is what kind of FTE impact might something like this have. This is the second fine arts offering, the second music offering. This is definitely something that, should this class run, and it would be on the 40:1 ratio, as all of our choirs and performance ensembles are, this would impact FTE. This would be a 0.2. This is not something that would exist inside another choir. It would be something that would stand alone. So that's certainly part of the impact that we would need to consider. The third offering is a unique offering in that we are kind of doing two things with this, and it doesn't necessarily say it right here. We currently have an offering in our curriculum guide called Dance 3. So our student dancers who start in Dance 1 go on to Dance 2. Then there was a Dance 3 offering before Honors Repertory Dance. And what we were finding is that really narrowed down the opportunities for dance for students, because you have to have gone through Dance 1, you have to have gone through Dance 3 and said, I'm going to keep going, and I think I'm going to try to hit that high-level performance ensemble. What we're looking to do is take Dance 3 out of the mix and rename it Hip Hop Dance and make it open to any student who wants to take it. This offering is an offering that we were very excited about because it speaks to what students appreciate about pop culture. When they are looking at their TikToks and when they're looking at their Reels and Instagram, they are seeing dances that are influenced by the hip hop culture, and that excites kids. Kids of all backgrounds, of all races, of all ethnicities, of all colors, of all socioeconomic status. It's something that they see, they understand, and are like, I want to do that. We've noticed that our representation in our dance classes is very skewed female. For example, we've had a couple of boys take our Dance 1 offering. And there's something about the idea that we would be doing hip hop dance that for some reason guys go, oh, I could do that. That's different. Because Dance 1 has this stigma or this perception of traditional Western dance. And one of the questions that was submitted wanted to make sure that we weren't kind of pigeonholing the students to whom this class is offered, right? We certainly noted in our rationale that our dance classes are disproportionately white. They're disproportionately female. And we make an assumption with the dancers that we know that are coming in. A lot of kids, even though we say you don't need prior dance experience, see the kind of dance that gets put on in a typical school performance program and think, oh, I gotta have training for that. I have to have been paying for dance lessons for 10 years or I'm not going to make it. And so we want to make sure that we are saying to all of our students, dance is for everybody. Dance is for if you have been dancing for 10 years or if you don't have the money to access that for 10 years, or if you're a guy or if you're a girl, whatever experience or background you have. And so this class is not just to target a very specific population, but it's designed and it's written to be broad enough and sort of relevant enough to target as many students as we could possibly imagine. The interesting thing about this is that it won't add FTE typically because it's a wellness course. So kids are going to be taking this for a wellness credit. So whether students take hip hop dance or not, they have to take a wellness class, right? So in the event that, let's say, 100 kids decide that they want to take hip hop dance instead of group fitness, okay, we can shift that FTE, and Madeline Dahl will be hip hop dancing her way all day long, because we can shift how we're allocating that FTE. I think that gets at the question that was asked of the board, but if not, just let me know and I can certainly come back. And then last, honors creative writing is another course within a course. So this is about student opportunity for our students who see themselves wanting to move forward in writing as it pertains to presentation, as it pertains to spoken word, publication. So we've noticed in our creative writing class that we're excited that has been running the past couple of years that there are students who really have a knack for this, who really have a talent for writing and want to kind of take that to the next level. And so our creative writing teacher, along with our instructional coach for English, thought that giving the ability for a student to be able to earn a designation, they don't have to take the course twice to earn it, they just have to meet those specific curricular expectations that I outlined for you, and they can get that honors designation because it means they've gone that extra mile. This is the first time that we've done something like this, where you have kind of one path for the gen ed and one path sort of for that honors curriculum. But when Mr. Venhorst and I were talking, we were talking about the fact that in some schools, that is how classes get off the ground, or that is how opportunities open up for students, because we are working with such limited resources at times, and we're being cognizant of where our FTE needs to fall and wanting to make really smart decisions about this. So we think that this opens up that opportunity, whereas we would probably never get 25 kids who want to publish right off the bat, but we can service those needs within a course that already exists for us. So those are the four.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Ms. Gaska? Mr. Venhorst? Mr. Durkin?
No.
Kylie, you need these approved tonight, though, correct?
I would love it, but I am not going to pressure the Board of Education to approve them.
I think you had a
Until
question
they're
or a
ready.
comment?
My comment really just goes back to fifth grade me and the Bobby Brown dance that I did at the talent show and how excited
Is there video
exciting it
footage
would have
of
been.
that?
There may be, it'd be
That would be
VHS, so it
priceless.
might be slightly trouble to convert it, but very good.
I love it. And
I
I
think it's a
think
great
that's one of the
opportunity.
things people are most excited about, is that we think this might be the way to get some of our male dancers to come out, and that will be really exciting.
Okay, I don't have any objections to approving it this evening unless someone else does.
No.
I've seen
No.
them in detail, I was comfortable with it.
Somebody read a resolution?
Yes. Mr. Durkin, it's under curriculum guide.
Curriculum Guide, new course proposals. The Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, approves the 4 new course proposals for the Curriculum Guide for the 2023-2024 school year as presented in the October 11th, 2022 Board Agenda Packet.
We do need a second.
Second.
Second from Ms. Gaska, and a roll call, please.
Ms. Gaska?
Yes.
Mr. Venhorst?
Yes.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
And Ms. Salas?
Yes.
Good job, Kylie. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
I
very
really
much for
appreciate it.
your
Are you sticking
detailed
around for the rest of the
explanation.
meeting?
Did you want me to? You want me to talk
No,
again?
okay.
Payment of bills.
Dr. Smetana, I don't think we received any questions on bills. Do you have any?
There are no questions submitted.
I did not submit one. Mike, I had one question. There was charter bus opportunities for two different groups. I was just curious, what qualifies them as groups to get a charter bus as opposed to, and is there a big cost difference in that?
We're using them for first.
Everything? And then the other part was, is that because of the necessity?
Right, we're using Windy City, we're using.
Yeah. Okay, I just saw it in there.
First student is are always our go-to
Gotcha.
at first, but if there is an event where they can't fulfill it at all, or they can't get here early enough, that's when we will then try
And that was my
other
apologies.
alternatives.
I meant, it was on page 90. I meant to send in a question. I figured it was an easy answer. It was the bus shortage, and that's our backup option to do so.
We also had 2 mini buses that were out of service for a short period of time.
Gotcha.
So that put a strain on the boys, both the boys and girls golf programs.
Okay.
We now have one of them back, so
Okay.
that certainly helps as well.
Any additional questions? Can we have a resolution? Ms. Gaska?
Payment of bills. The Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, approves the payment of bills as presented in the October 11, 2022 Board Agenda Packet.
Second?
And a second from Mr. Durkin, and this is a roll call, please.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Ms. Gaska?
Yes.
Mr. Benhurst?
Yes.
And Ms. Salas?
Yes. Parameters of the bond resolution. I apologize, I lost, my computer froze up here real quick. So
Begins on Board Book
What
page
page?
162.
Thank you.
Included is the life safety parameters bond resolution, which authorizes the issuance of proposed life safety bonds for replacing our 2 large air handlers, both the cafeteria and the library. So this resolution reflects specific parameters governing the manner of sale, the length of maturity, the rates of interest, purchase price, and tax levy for said bond. The parameters authorize the Board of Education to move forward with the sale and delegate that authority to the board president and the superintendent or the chief financial officer. The administration, we would recommend that this be approved tonight so that we can move forward with the remaining steps prior to issuing the bonds. This is a standard protocol for issuing public bonds due to the fact that it often will happen outside of a board meeting. There's a very strict timeline that needs to be followed. The last time the board approved parameters bond resolution was when we issued bonds in 2017.
I didn't have any questions. I thought the write-up was very good. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions?
No question.
Kristen, the resolution should just be, I mean, they don't need to read the entire, which part do they need to read? 'Cause I believe it's a couple pages.
No, I think, well, isn't it just this?
I think it was
Yeah, it says
summarized
parameters
on-
bond resolution.
Perfect.
I think it's just the preamble piece then.
That's why we put it on the agenda as well, I think it's
Yeah.
why it's posted.
Mr. Van Horst, would you be so kind? Yes, thank you.
Resolution providing for the issue of not to exceed $2,340,000 general obligation limited tax school bonds of Township High School District Number 208, Cook County, Illinois, for the purpose of altering and reconstructing school buildings and purchasing and installing equipment therein for fire prevention and safety, energy conservation, and school security purposes, providing for the levy of a direct annual tax to pay the principal and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof.
We need a second,
Second.
please.
Second, Bill Durkin?
Ms. Gaska?
Yes.
Mr. Benhurst?
Yes.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
And Ms. Salas?
Yes. Moving on to the out-of-state and/or overnight field trips.
Dr. Freitas is sick tonight, but so these are two of the three trips that you heard about last week, and then Model UN is the first read. The Model UN was adjusted to reflect some of the cost coverage by the activity account. Mr. Manning gets the general activity account to help offset some of their costs. So this is a second read for a wrestling team and ski and snowboard club. It's the board decision if you'd like to approve the Model UN tonight or bring that back again in October.
Were there any questions on any of the overnight field trips?
There was not.
I know we had discussed the ski trips previously. Do we want to discuss the Model UN or any questions, or we want to go ahead and move forward and let people plan?
Let's move forward.
Okay, I would tend to agree. Any objection?
No.
Nope.
Mr. Durkin, could you read that one, please?
Out-of-state and/or overnight field trips, 2022-2023 school year. The Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, approves the trip requests for the wrestling team, ski and snowboard club, and Model UN as presented in the October 11, 2022 Board Agenda Packet.
And do we have a second?
Second.
I think Ms. Gaska was quicker on the draw. We do need a roll call.
Ms. Gasko?
Yes.
Mr. Venus?
Yes.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
And Ms. Salas?
Yes. The IASB resolutions, this is for board member research and review. We don't need to take action on this
Correct.
until the next meeting. So which meeting would that be? That would be the
October
the
cow?
Yeah. So
I would
everyone should
think
take
if-
time to read through those.
Correct.
School maintenance project grant, first read.
The school maintenance project grant is a dollar-for-dollar matching grant program providing awards up to $50,000 to school districts exclusively for maintenance and upkeep of buildings and structures for educational purposes. Applicants are required to provide a match from local funds to equal the grant amount requested. I attached in the board packet our grant application for upgrading the lighting in the auditorium to LED lighting, which is included in our approved budget. The districts, we most recently received this last year in February for the bathroom partitions and electric charging stations for the cars. And then we also received it in 2020 when we were doing some replacements for roofs. This is not a grant that is offered every year, so those are the last 2 times it was recently offered. We are requesting the maximum of $50,000 for our project. The grant requires board approval before I can submit it, but the grant is not due until November, so this is just a first read.
I don't think there were any questions submitted, so we can move on. I mean, I'm always in favor of you seeking out different additional grant opportunities, so thank you.
You're welcome.
And we'll approve at the next meeting, I would assume.
Does the board want this on a consent?
I'm comfortable with that. Any objections? No?
Okay, Mary Ann, can
Okay.
you please note consent
Yeah.
agenda for the school maintenance grant?
Thank you. Working cash interfund loan, this is also a first read. I think we talked about this quite a bit last meeting.
Yes, this is a first read so that the board could see the language associated with the interfund loan. But this is language to loan money from working cash, both to our education fund and debt service accounts or funds. I put in preliminarily what I think the amounts will be, but I will review again before I bring it to the October COW for approval.
Okay, so no additional action there required this evening. Thank you. And moving on to the final item under new business is election of a Board of Education Vice President. So I'm going to ask for interest from the Board of Education in serving as Vice President for the remainder of this organizational term.
So after careful consideration, I'd like to offer to serve as vice president.
Okay. Does anyone else wish to submit their
Second,
name?
if that's
Okay.
required.
We do need an actual motion. I'm going to make sure looking at Mr. Van Horst and Ms. Ruska. May the record reflect that Ms. Ruska is here, so thank you. Do you have any other comments, or can we go ahead and move forward with Ms. Gaska as Vice President? Okay. I think she would do a wonderful job.
We need to take a vote on that?
Yes, we need to take
I'll make a motion.
We need an actual motion. No offense.
Oh, second motion.
Okay.
I motion that Ms. Gaska be nominated for vice president for the remaining term of the organizational term of this board term.
Now,
No, I'll second.
Okay.
Is it on here?
it is on here, but that's,
Oh,
I think
let me-
that
let
was
me say it
sufficient.
then.
No, you're
No,
okay.
It covered the appropriate points.
Oh, good, okay.
Second by Bill Durkin, Mary Ann?
Okay, thank you. And we do need a roll call.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Ms. Gasko?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Mr. Van Horst?
Yes.
And Ms. Salas?
Yes, with pleasure.
Okay.
Congratulations, Ms. Gaska.
Thank you.
Visitor statements, second opportunity. I see no additional visitor statements and public comment in the room. There were no discussion items requested or Do we have any consideration of items for future meetings from anyone? No? Matters for closed session. Appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body. Student discipline, individual student matters. Purchase, sale, or lease of real property. Probable imminent or pending litigation, collective negotiations, and school safety. We have a resolution for that, please, Ms. Gasco.
Yes, sorry. Closed session. The Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, enters closed session for the purpose of considering the closed session matters as presented in the October 11, 2022 Board Agenda Packet.
And can we have a second?
Second.
A second from Mr. Durkin. We do need a roll call, please.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Mr. Van Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Ms. Gasko?
Yes.
And Ms. Salis?
Yes. And time, 7:30. We're going to move